Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, they find a way. The Oilers fall 6-2 to the Vancouver Canucks. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be showing up right away here after an absolutely brutal night for the Edmonton Oilers. YouTube Trev making sure everything's working smoothly back there. Join the conversation. Hit us up via the inbox, 780-218-9999. I feel like you have a lot to say about this team right now. Please do. Keep the expletives out as much as possible. I'll try to clean it up as much as I can as well. And in the nasty chat, already getting nasty, as it does on a night where the Oilers get blown out 6-2 by the Vancouver Canucks. Let's start with the scoring summary and the stats. It started really good for this team tonight. Like, it started so good for the Oilers tonight. I'm talking great. They're out shooting the Canucks 15-1 at one point, extended it to 19-2, had a 1-0 lead when Matthias Ekholm scored his first of the year, an absolute rocket on the power play. Power play 2, scored again. 2 games in a row. Damn. That's good. They did it. Power play 2. They're the ones doing the heavy lifting on the power play right now. 1-0 Edmonton. 6:42 in. Gagné and Kane with the assists. Gagné and Kane, Edmonton's 2 best forwards the last handful of games. By the way, Gagné, double hip surgery in the offseason. That's where it all unraveled. Quinn Hughes ties it up at 11:30. It's his 5th. From Kuzmenko and Hronek, you could say Vinny Desharnais scored that one. He did not mean to or intend to put it in his own net. Yes, Hughes fired it across. I think he was trying to hit Mikheyev, who would have had a tap-in, regardless of if Desharnais got his stick on it or not. Regardless, Hughes has 5. Kuzmenko, Hronek, like I said, the assist. 1-1 at 11:30. It only gets worse from there because less than 2 minutes later, Pius Suter scores his 3rd of the year, 2nd in as many games, to make it 2-1 for Vancouver. Dakota Joshua and Ian Cole the assists. Absolutely brutal goal. Off the rush, no surprise. Through Stuart Skinner. Not good. Bad goal. Bad goal. Stinker. 2-1 Van. On the power play, Brock Besser would make it 3-1 Vancouver at 14:52. His 9th of the year from Miller and Hughes. I'll let Matt Kassian talk about that one when he hops on board. The Oilers down 2 goals after 1 in the second period. It looked like they had life. Leon Draisaitl scores his 5th from Warren Foegele. Thatcher Demko tries to take out Dylan Holloway, falls down, creates an opportunity. Foegele finds Draisaitl. He snaps his scoring drought. Give him 5. 3-2 at that point for the Canucks. 7:38 time of the goal. Then Nils Höglander would get his 3rd of the year to make it 4-2 Vancouver at 10:52 of the middle frame. Absolutely brutal pinch attempt by Evan Bouchard. Absolutely brutal back check attempt by Evan Bouchard. Shot by Lafferty, saved by Skinner. Juicy rebound, Höglander, Johnny on the spot to absolutely bury it. Bouchard, his controller got unplugged again, like we saw a couple of games ago. Vancouver, 2-goal lead going into the 3rd. In that 3rd period, JT Miller makes it 5-2 at 7:51 on the power play from Hughes and Hronek. Went in so quick they had to review it. They kept the play going for like 8 seconds. And then later, Brock Besser scores on the power play to give the Canucks a 6-2 victory. Besser's 10th, absolutely destroying the Oilers. Half of those goals are against the Oilers this year. 1904 power play. Pettersson and Hughes. Didn't matter at that point. Guys sprawling around. Stuart Skinner on one knee. Far side. Pass goes across, hits Besser. Underneath Kulak's stick. Cody Ceci gets there right in time to flip Besser's stick really high up in the air. Besser scores, celebrates, catches his stick. In the process of this 6-2 loss to the Vancouver Canucks, where the Oilers started, like I said at the start of the show, really good. Jay Woodcroft thrown out of the game. Didn't like a hit on Dylan Holloway. Gives it to the ref. Tossed. I appreciate that he's standing up for his guys. But it didn't matter. It was irrelevant at that point. I know he's doing everything he can. He really is. I understand that. That was after Leon Draisaitl served for 10 minutes for unsportsmanlike, giving it to the ref. Gene Principe had the video, if you haven't seen what Draisaitl did to deserve the 10, pointing the finger at the ref. Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid in the box at the same time. McDavid getting frustrated. This is pathetically bad. I didn't know that it could get this bad, but it's gotten worse. I thought tonight that they would have a little bit of gumption. I thought they would battle. I didn't think they'd get beaten 6-2. First 10 minutes were great. Here we are. 2-8-1, the Edmonton Oilers. 2-8-1 on their way to take on the San Jose Sharks. Two of the worst teams in the National Hockey League on Thursday night. 8:30 p.m. puck drop. We're live at 7 for the pregame show. YouTube, Travis Cass ready to go?
No, he is not.
All right. Are you okay over there?
I don't know what to say, Tommy. This one really hurt watching it. You know, it was a great start. Everything was going good. And, you know, I said to you, I was like, okay, this start is great, but I'm kind of worried because I feel like the second Vancouver skates down to the other end, they're gonna score. And that's just going to be so depleting for the team. And they're not going to be able to just get it back, get their oomph back. And that's exactly what we saw happen. It was bad. I can't get over, like, how hard is it to just say to these players, guys, back check and take a guy and lift their stick as soon as you enter the defensive zone. I don't get it. There's just Vancouver, yeah, they're a good team, but they just, all the chances that they were generating, just so many cross-crease chances, and they were just so flustered. The Oilers just, they did not look, you know what, we saw it. They were like frantic. They're like, they were not doing a whole lot of thinking out there. They were doing a lot of watching. And it's tough because they did come out strong. Honestly, I can say that is probably the worst game. And, you know, he's the best player in the world. So that's like, I want to be nice. But McDavid, like, I've never seen him play like that. Like, he's just mentally fatigued. You can tell this one's really just draining him, and that's kind of worrisome. I've never seen him look like that before. When he ended up getting in the last scrum there where Leon got the 10-minute minor or whatever it was, he ran right into Leon, like, in the offensive zone. Like, those guys have some of the best chemistry you'd ever see, and he just runs right into him, and then it's an odd man rush the other way, and and then his last shift, he fell on the boards again, and he just, oh man, it looks very, like, this is draining. It's tough.
Has completely unraveled.
It has.
Shots on goal, 42-35 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers win the face-off battle, 54.8 to 45.2%. Great. Power play 1 for 3. PK. 3 for 6.
Yikes.
3 for 6. I know Vancouver was clicking at a 30% clip coming into this, but 3 for 6. I know that the Besser goal was in garbage time, but 3 for 6 on the PK. The 27th ranked PK, I should add. Hits 25-22 in favor of the Oilers. 19 block shots for those Vancouver Canucks that have their 9th win of the season. 11 for the Edmonton Oilers. 780-218-9999 is the inbox. The nasty chat is on fire right now. I'm going to start reading some text. We're going to get Matt Kassian on here right away, and we'll get his breakdown. This one from Taco. Taco texts in, Tommy, the wheels are falling off. The frustration was very evident in the third period, and to be honest, it's only making things worse and more embarrassing. I hope they don't assume that they will automatically beat the Sharks. I'm sure the Sharks see the Oil as a beatable team and will play hard to get their first W. Taco. Sharks get the Flyers before they play the Oilers. I don't know what's going to happen on Thursday at this point. This text from Mr. Dad says, I wonder if the Oilers could persuade Detroit to trade Kostin back from McLeod. Looks like Kostin has not done well in Detroit so far. Mr. Dad, I appreciate the text. Wishful thinking. This one. Arthur, Oilers fan from Vancouver. Love the show and analysis all day. You guys do a good job. Thank you, Arthur. Really appreciate it. Anyway, I feel like the issue with the Oilers is an issue of mindset. Cup or bust made our plays feel entitled, and we in turn underestimate our opponents. Anyway, thanks, Arthur. Could be true, Arthur, but the person who said cup or bust was a guy on the team. Calgary Glenn. Tommy, I'm at a loss for words. Many of us are, Calgary Glenn. Calgary Glenn continues, I don't know what it's going to take. Do we have to sacrifice a virgin or something? If so, can we volunteer YouTube Trev? He might not qualify.
Did I hear that right?
Yes. Calgary Glenn is trying to crack jokes, and I appreciate that.
That's pretty good. That makes my night way better. Thank you.
Thank you, Calgary Glenn, for cutting some of the tension a little bit. I see Cass is almost ready to go. Couple more texts here. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. This is going to be a therapy session for the next hour. It's going to be a vent session for the next hour. That's what's going to happen for the next hour. Boys, what have we done as souls to deserve this torment? To lose sucks. To lose an expletive late game like that ain't priceless. It costs a lot. Those shots of Holland were priceless, though. I have zero faith in Holland to fix this. Demko. That's what a legit starter can do. That's from Huntario Mums. Let's bring in our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Cass, frustration, anger, disappointment. That was just Saturday. Now it's despair, vitriol, just cats and dogs living together.
No words, yeah. Tommy.
It's unbelievable. Like, if we're talking about a 4-2 loss where they lost with an empty netter, and I was kind of expecting like them to be in it, be really fired up for tonight. That's what I was expecting. I didn't expect them to win this game tonight. I just expected them to be in it.
I was hoping they'd win it tonight, and the way they came out of the gate, I thought they were going to win it tonight after the first 10 minutes. I was like, oh, they got some juice tonight. But once again, Tommy, they allow big mistakes to completely cripple them and drop a game because of it. Just big mistakes again, Tommy. I mean, it's like I don't even know. Like, I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know how to describe it, Tommy. Just, man alive.
Cass, I'm just going to say it. This team right now sucks.
Yeah.
This team sucks. From top to bottom, it sucks. And there's no rationale as to why it sucks.
No.
People will say the goaltending can't get you a save. We saw that on the second. I know. They say the defense has holes in it. Yeah, we know. But it's better than the defense that started last year. This team was 10-10, 20 games in last year. They started out great. Then they dropped off. The forwards, until tonight, they really couldn't roll 12 forwards per game. This team right now is broken. And it sucks. The team sucks right now. It's capable of much more, Cass.
You have to wonder if it's that 8-1 game, the very first one. Like, did that first game against Vancouver break them?
How? I don't know how game one
either.
losing 8-1 can break a team that went to the second round and lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the year before, they lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions. This team's downright awful right now. Their body language is garbage.
Well, of course it's garbage. They've won 2 hockey games.
The way they play is garbage, Cass.
Well, they were fine. The first period, they were good. Like, their first period, they were rolling. And then you make a couple mistakes that cost you, and it's just like, oh, here we go again, and they just completely fall apart again.
Where do you want to go from here on this one?
I don't even know.
Like I went in with reasonable I'm going to reiterate this. Reasonable expectation tonight. Vancouver's rolling hot. They've had a great start to the year. They work hard. They have talent. They've got a goalie they can rely on. All of those elements have shown up, okay? We respect that and acknowledge it. You've got 2 of the best players in the world in orange and blue. You've got a good supporting cast. You got a coach with a great record thus far, has a lot of solutions, has a good veteran coaches around him. They have all the resources in the world, and they suck. In the 23-24 season, this team is only better than the San Jose Sharks, who haven't won a game yet this year. We're 11 games in. What? What now?
I mean,
what now?
What now? That's just the thing, Tommy. It's like, I don't even, like, what now is right? Like, it's just, I don't understand, because you were way better last year.
It's not Kostin. It's not Bjugstad. It's not Yamamoto.
Well, those things, they make a difference.
They do.
But not this big of a difference.
Cass, all right. Let's break down this game outside of the end result. You like the start. I like the start. Everybody likes the start for this team. Fantastic start. Was it as simple as their confidence was shattered when Vinny Desharnais inadvertently redirects the puck into his own net? Was that it? Is that all it took?
That's all it took. Because it gave Vancouver went like, oh, we're still in this. Because if Edmonton scores next and goes up 2 and can keep rolling, all of a sudden it's just like, or can score next. Like, oh man. Yeah.
You've got notes. Take us through your notes.
I'm just pulling up my notes, because you're up 1-0 at that point. Yeah, I mean, you're up 2, and you just start rolling. And Vinny Desharnais, bless his heart, he's trying to do the right thing, and just puts it home. No chance for Stuart Skinner. And it's like a switch flipped in Vancouver's brain, and a switch flipped probably in Edmonton's brain too, to be like, oh, here we go again. You can't buy a bounce. Goal 2 against. I know everyone is like, Stuart Skinner this and that, and would you like him to save it? Absolutely. But it was, again, in a rush against a cacophony of errors, a plethora of errors, a basket of errors, a warehouse full of errors, where you have, I think it was Evan Bouchard just absolutely diving in. I'm just pulling my notes again on this one.
Yep.
Rush against on this one. Like just completely falling apart. Warren Fogle over back checking again. Kulak not sliding over, creating a massive gap in the middle. Players not back checking fully through and coasting through the neutral zone, not recognizing that there's danger. It's just, again, Tommy, just error upon error upon error. And so we can blame Skinner, and does he share some of the blame? Absolutely.
Yes, that was a weak goal that went right through him.
Yep.
When they needed a save.
when they needed a save. But you also put him in a position where you needed a save. And both things aren't good enough. My brain's a jumble right now, Tom, because I'm just like, this is just...
that's okay. So the Hughes goal we talked about. Vinny Desharnais inadvertently puts it into his own net. Pius Suter scores, like Cass said, excellent use of cacophony. A cascade of errors I like to use. Domino effect, whatever. Goalie can't save it, goes right through his body and his blocker. 2-1 Vancouver. Besser then scores late in the period on the power play for Miller and Hughes. You have a little bit of life, Cass, in the second period. You get the goal from Draisaitl, and 2.5 minutes later, you have a bad pinch or a terrible read. I don't even know if you can call what Evan Bouchard did as a pinch. And his controller gets on play. It's the perfect term because he starts coasting blue line in. Get the first save off the Lafferty shot from Skinner. Puck kicks out to the middle. Höglander's there to bury it. Höglander, who, by the way, started the play after the bad read from Evan Bouchard.
Yeah, and on that one, too, Draisaitl doesn't take a step out of the... Really, he just sits right above the referee at the dot after the faceoff and doesn't take a stride till puck's in danger zone already outside the blue line. He's just kind of sitting there. That doesn't help either. But yeah, Bouchard, I think you correctly identified in that one. Just where are you going? Where are you going again? And then, I mean, he eventually starts skating hard to get back, but at that point, it's already too late. So,
yeah,
again, cascade of errors.
Yep.
Just in ones that just absolutely crush you, at horrible times. And it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
By the way, and I should have given more attention to the first Besser goal because that power play goal was scored 8 seconds into the man advantage, right off a faceoff, Cass. And we haven't, crapped on this guy much because, A, he was hurt for training camp. B, he's their best defenseman. Matthias Ekholm does not pick up Besser. There's a missed assignment as well. Off the rebound goal. Just, I'm pointing it out, try to be equal. Dish out the crap on everybody that deserves crap. Third period, I mean, you're down a couple goals. You think that you're going to have a bit of a surge. They get one. It was clearly kicked in by Warren Foegele. And then they sag. And that was it.
Yep. It was like everyone's against us. World is against us. We can't do anything. We're not going to get the bounces. It was, yeah.
Okay. Cass, one last one as we wrap up this breakdown of the game, and then we go into the inbox and the nasty chat. The physical response tonight in the third period. We saw McDavid mix it up. Draisaitl takes it 10. Woodcroft gets thrown out. Hyman dumps JT Miller from behind. Anything? Is there anything in there you go, at least they're trying to do something? Or no? Or was that all for naught? Just a waste?
I mean, I would have said 5 games ago they're trying to do something. In this one, at that point, with McDavid and Draisaitl in particular, you were still within range and within time of being like, well, maybe you could still do something here. So it didn't seem like it was ideal timing for that. But then the eventual push, I mean, it's just the frustration boiling over. Yeah. I mean, 5 games ago, I would have said, hey, they're showing some spunk. But we're so far into this that I'm like, okay, well, now? I mean, I don't...
Irrelevant.
Yeah. It doesn't change anything. At this point, it doesn't change anything. Bench clear or something. Man. I'm just baffled, Tommy.
If there were, hypothetically, because a bench clearing brawl, that's a statement. If there were to be a bench clearing brawl, again, super hypothetical, I think you'd have 6 guys hop over the boards, and then the rest of them just kind of leaning over, being like, let me get at him. Let me get at him. No, don't. You want me to go? Oh, no, okay, I'm good. No. Oh, yeah? You think you're tough? Come over here and say that. That's what I think would happen at this point if they were to attempt the bench clearing brawl.
No, they probably would. Someone would step on a banana peel when they get on the ice and take out 3 or 4 of their own guys trying to get over the bench.
Full on Mario Kart.
Like, oh boy. Tommy, this is, I think, the hardest post-game show we have ever done. Because it's just, I'm like, I don't know what they do or where they go from here. And for as much as I'm, and you probably have been too, have been like, well, Jay Woodcroft, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. There's a part of me that in my mind is just like, what if they have to, if this keeps up?
Is a sign of desperation from Jay Woodcroft the fact that he got thrown out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, what do you, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. And even if you change that, the situation still remains where you're in cap crunch, and it's just like the types of mistakes they're making aren't like if we look at Vancouver and we look at when Tocchet came in.
Yeah.
You had a team that was struggling.
Absolutely.
Playing a really weird system.
Absolutely.
And you bring in a coach that's like a disciplined, energetic coach. And I know from talking to players, I know the players in Vancouver, they love Boudreau as far as the person. They loved him as a coach. But he was just chaotic and disorganized from a system standpoint. And you had like a clear, definite point where it's like, okay, we changed this, and this in what we were doing. And he was able to push players, and they changed things immediately. If you get rid of Jay Woodcroft, what do you change? Like, quite literally, all you're changing, or a majority of what you're changing, is a head coach, and that's it. It's like, does it just? Are you trying to shock the room? Is that? But what else do you? I don't know. What else do you do? What like?
Well, people have suggested firing Ken Holland. He's done at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean that's not like you're not advancing anything at that point. And you bring in a new GM. What are they going to do?
They're gonna mop up for the rest of the year until another new GM is announced in the offseason. That's what happens. That's what happens. 780-218-9999. Text us if you're listening on the audio stream or via TuneIn. We appreciate that. If you're watching, Nasty Chat, I can barely keep up. I take a peek over at the Nasty Chat, and it's just going like crazy. So we're going to try to see as much as we can in the Nasty Chat. We're going to get to text first because they're not ripping through because everybody's firing away, and understandably so. This text comes in and says, this has to be rock bottom. That was embarrassing. And the leaders, the top line is sitting in the box in a game that is still within reach. Canucks didn't play dirty. It's pure emotion bubbling over. No name on that text. Brad from Crossfield texts in, says, I walked away at 1-0 for 10 minutes. Came back and it's 3-1. I knew it was done, and they did too. This room is gone. Needs something. Complete dog expletive club right now. Brad from Crossfield. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that statement. No. Brian in TAC says, I think Woodcroft just told his players what he really thought of them by attacking the ref. They refused to work for him. Really sad day for us Oiler fans. Brian in TAC. Cass, anything? Or do you want me to keep rattling these off? Because there's a lot.
Let's get through a few more.
Okay.
I need to hear what people want to, what they're saying.
Tin Can Blues says, there's no way Schwartz survives the night, right? Right? I don't know, Tin Can Blues. Sask Bill says, Woody fired if we lose again Thursday? I mean, if you think that this is rock bottom, a loss to the Sharks, who have yet to win this season, would indeed be further below this rock bottom. Strummy, Bumblebee Tuna, Tom Ye. Thank you, Strummy. Bumblebee Tuna to you, too. Everyone needs to relax. The Oilers are only 5, maybe 6 players away from being a 500 team. Strummy with that one.
Oh,
you can always count on Strummy for a good little crack here and there. This one says, my only flash of hope was when Dusty tweeted that the EST parlay was close to hitting with the Draisaitl goal until I rechecked the EST parlay and it was McDavid. Wah, wah. Windermere Wingnut says, Tommy, love the suit. Is it time for a fun practice and maybe even a day or two away from the rink? Just a thought. Windermere Wingnut, they had fun at practice yesterday. There was laughs. Apparently they were enjoying the camaraderie before the flight to Vancouver. And then a day or two away from the rink. I guess they could get that in San Jose tomorrow if they really want. Maybe go to San Fran. Do not go to Oakland. Do not go to Oakland. One other text says, so bad. I just want the Oilers to win. No name on that text. One more, Cass. SJ not in the Kootenays. It's over for this coaching staff. If it wasn't getting kicked out, childish, it's continuing to reward pathetic play and players. Bouchard is ridiculously bad and gets to stroll out over and over again. His play on whatever goal that was is 10 times worse than the train wreck goal against Skinner. And no consequences. Ever. Jay is done. That comes in from SJ, not in the Kootenays. Cass.
Well, SJ, I'm gonna agree with you that it was way worse than Skinner letting that goal in, which is what some people fixate on. I don't think you give him days off, Tom. I mean, you could try to bag skate him. Again, it's just like what, and that's where you see Woodcroft losing his cool. Is like what he doesn't know what to do. I mean, you try the carrot. Is a head coach in the NHL walking in and kicking over garbage cans and yelling and screaming and bag skating players over and over and over again. It doesn't do anything. It does not do anything. You have a limited amount of times you can do that to try to get a response or reaction of the guys. And that's not, I don't know. It just doesn't do anything. The answer, as we've talked about before, is the players in the room. And the people we have to look at are your Connor McDavid, your Leon Draisaitl, your Darnell Nurse, your top guys. Now, if we want to say Evan Bouchard has been horribly disappointing, I'm fine with that because he has absolutely struggled. But there are guys, Tom, that historically have been consistent top performers that have played very well. And Ekholm is one of those guys. And he has struggled, as you already pointed out today. He has made mistakes. It's like everybody is making mistakes. Everybody is falling apart. And I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. I mean, if you're the head, like, okay, let's say, Tommy, Woodcroft got fired. Okay. Let's just say that.
Okay. Yeah.
And your phone rings, and it's Kenny Holland, and he's like, Tom, you're taking over. What are you doing tomorrow with this team?
I don't know, Cass. I don't know. Okay, hypothetical. Simple hockey, greasy hockey, try hard hockey. Ask these players to play the type of hockey kids with minimal skill have to play. Remind them that you have to work hard. Outside of that, which I'm sure has already been brought up with this group, I really don't know. I would say look at the teams that are beating you. They're not as talented. I'm sure that's been said. I probably wouldn't be as nice. Cass. It wouldn't matter if the next guy or the guy that's coaching right now peeled the paint off the wall by yelling and screaming and berating these guys. I'm sure it goes in one ear and right out the other, and then tomorrow morning they wake up and they go, damn, I'm a good hockey player. I'm an NHL player. No, we're not doing great right now, but I'm good. That's what I feel is a problem with this group.
It might be. I mean, what? Again, I'm at a loss to figure out what is it. I mean, from a analyst standpoint, I can tell you that they suck at defending the rush, and no one talks. And they just go brain dead at moments for who knows what reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's ego. Could be, as you alluded to. I don't know. Maybe they're all having relationship problems. What? All of them at the same time. Tom, if I was a coach, if Woodcroft got fired and they hired me tomorrow, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm changing.
Somebody said get Joel Quenneville in there. Guess what? After the news yesterday, I don't think Joel Quenneville is coaching in the NHL ever again.
No.
Fire Holland. We went over this already. He's got a foot out the door. This is it for him. This is his last year. Make a trade. Okay. How are you going to do on that trade? You're going to get absolutely destroyed in it.
Yep. And a trade has to make you better.
Unbelievable. 780-218-9999. I'm seeing a lot of fans from other teams coming into our stream. Thank you for watching. I saw the Flames Nation crew stirring it up. They smell blood like sharks in the water. Thursday night, 7 o'clock pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. To the inbox we go again. Roland says, the fastest way to a Stanley Cup is a rebuild. Trading first-round lottery picks should be totally off limits. Mike from Calgary says, boys did the 2 to 3 weeks earlier than any other team. Captain skates ruined the season. Seems weird when the vibes were uber positive, but it seems guys started slow and injured. No. On the broadcast, they were talking about other teams coming in and having great skates in the preseason, or before the preseason even began. Captain skates, if you will. I think we made a big deal of it because, McDavid went out of his way to say, we want everybody here. If they were winning right now, or if they were even slightly over 500, people would be like, they're back on track. They're going to be okay. Not the greatest start, but it's a good thing Connor had the guys here a little bit early. That's what would be said. So to blame it on the captain's skate, a little far-fetched.
A little far-fetched. No, that's it's ridiculously far-fetched. And really, everybody does those skates.
Yeah.
You're looking for what reason?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a reason? And Tom, there isn't a reason. There is no reason. There's no good reason. Anyways, there's no we can point to one thing. It's just, it was out the gate right at the start of the season. They just haven't had it.
No.
The juice, the sauce, the jump, the spark, the fire, whatever you want to call it, it just hasn't been there. And they can't find it.
Yeah.
And they can't, the problem is, Tommy, is they can't get out of their own way with it.
Right.
Can't get out of their own way with it.
Mike from Calgary he's looking for solutions, right? He's looking to pinpoint problems. I understand. Thanks for the text, Mike. Appreciate it. This one says, at what point can they no longer afford to trade next year's first-round pick because it will be a top 5? Sad that we're talking about this 11 games in. Another one says, the coach has lost the room. He will be fired shortly. No other way to go now than to bring in a fresh set of eyes. Coach has lost his team. It happens. No name on that text. Another text says,
but how does he lose them? What did he do to lose them? How is the message that he's been preaching lost? How I don't buy it that they've tuned him out.
Neither do I. This is all self-inflicted wounds within the group that actually plays the players. They've done it to themselves. They've done it to themselves. This one says, the fact that Bouchard coasts in after the poor pinch just shows the entitlement where he has no self-awareness of his errors, knowing he will not be held accountable. This one says, their problems are in the locker room. Evander Kane is a serious problem. I mean, if this was 2 years ago when they brought him in and there was issues with him being a lone wolf, then yeah, I'd be like, okay, we knew that there was a risk of that, but by all accounts, he's been good. By all accounts, he's been good. And
observably, he's been one of the few guys that at least has been throwing his body around.
Yes, he's been one of their best players for the last handful of games, too. He backed it up. He put his money where his mouth is. After he made the comment, had the fight, said he wasn't playing much in the first. Guess what? He started playing hard after that.
Yep.
Another text says, Tommy, Vegas did to Edmonton in the playoffs what the Oilers did to the Flames the playoffs before that. They broke the spirit of the team. A loss so embarrassing and so devastating that it crumbled the foundation. That's from the doc. This text says, how do you guys feel about the word that Zadorov, Tanev, and Hanifin possible getting traded here? I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. I know there's reports that something like that could be out there, but come on. Calgary's not going to do it. Not with Edmonton. No.
This text says, change the logo back to copper and blue like when we at least knew we were bad and this team is trash. Another text, no name on it, says, some of these ideas in the chat are just ridiculous. I agree there is nothing you can say / do to fix this. You need to know what goes on in the room. This one from the Wolf says, Woody's body language seems very agitated, but I think he gave a good interview for how the night went. That's from the Wolf. Bad Andy says, no accountability. SJ is right. Sit Bouchard. West End Bob says, boys, if it's 2018 again, should I start hoarding toilet paper in anticipation of the coming pandemic? I think this team overthought its defensive play structure at the start of the year and forgot how to do everything else, and now they're going to implode. West End Rob. This one from BB says, Desharnais, unfortunate tip is totally irrelevant. That puck was going in as a tip. You said it in your opening, Tom. It was a goal. Either way, I agree. This one says, grim, deflating, momentum swings that ruin them. What do you do? It's hard to stay optimistic at this point. A Hail Mary trade isn't an answer, in my opinion. Even if you could bring in an impact goalie / D-man, I don't know if that's going or how you achieve that cap-wise. Stauffer is sharing the Condors goalie stats, a bit of foreshadowing for next step from front office. That's from Garrett from Victoria. Cass, do you see anything in the nasty chat?
There's hot and heavy. Hot and heavy. I've actually seen a few of them, a few Valak Camus.
Yeah.
Valak Camus. There's some of those thrown out. Those are a few ones. New defensive system is sunk. Now, I actually want to jump on that for a second, because there was something that came up in the text that you just read as well. Mm-hmm. Is that now the actual system hasn't been the problem. The execution has been the problem. We've talked about that all the time. But the little nugget that I want to pull out of there and say, I wonder if that has something to do with it, is the slight shift in the defensive system. If they did over-focus on that from a dressing room standpoint, from a mental standpoint, and then when it didn't work right away, that it just resulted in not necessarily full-blown panic, but they lost their sense of self. Like, they changed a little bit of their system. They lost their sense of self. Even though it wasn't a really big change at all, shouldn't have been any kind of a thing. I wonder if that had something to do with it. Maybe. Again, I'm grasping at straws because I have no idea.
780-218-9999. Maybe you have a suggestion as to what has to happen.
Oh, here's a good one. The problem is, like today, the media, so it's our fault, Tom. The media, like these two guys, never put any blame on McDavid ever.
Well, we said he was bad.
We actually did.
We said that him not scoring for the last 5 games has been bad. He's been bad. We've given him a little bit of leeway because, A, he's McDavid, and B, he's probably hurt. But we've said he's been bad. He hasn't been himself. Clearly.
Yep, and we quite extensively talked about, from not the coaching staff, I don't think. It starts with the leadership group in the room. That's McDavid. So, yeah, we definitely, it's our fault though, Tom.
I'll take the blame. That's fine.
Yep. It's us.
I'll eat it. If it helps, I'll eat it. This one says, listening to you guys, I think Leon has to get traded. He's tired of Edmonton. Who'd want to live there? Thanks, Big J from Van. Haha, there you go. You get some Vancouver Canucks fans enjoying their victory over the Oilers. Third time in 11 games the Oilers have lost to the Canucks this season. This text says, they are in a fragile funk, and as soon as one mistake is made, they start to panic. The more they try to push for a goal, the more they leave themselves vulnerable for bad defensive mistakes. And, of course, they are not getting Thatcher Demko caliber goaltending. All of it adds up to fragile and a lost-in-the-dark team. This text says, if they lose to the Sharks, the only people on the plane home are players and trainers. Leave the rest of the staff in Cali. Tim says, did last year's flying offense cover up some major holes? Cass, what would you say to Tim?
Well, yeah, of course it did. Of course it did. We all knew that. And we assumed it would again this year, but the offense hasn't been as high flying. And I think part of what's happened, Tom, is teams go into the game knowing that if they play very responsible, that Edmonton's going to make big mistakes, and all they have to do is capitalize on those mistakes, because you're going to get gifted one. You're going to get gifted two. You could get gifted 3 or 4 with this group right now. It's just teams will just say, we'll just sit back, just play solid defense. Don't risk anything. Don't try anything. Just wait. Just play patient. And they're going to open up and give you one. And that's happened over and over and over.
780-218-9999. One says, to the texter who insists this is rock bottom, let's wait for San Jose. Sad, but seriously, Cass, I know that that's someone just like rubbing it in and pissed off, but we're at a point now where it's like, I don't know if they're going to go in and beat San Jose.
They're not broken. An automatic. It's not an automatic.
This text says, Oilers should target Mackenzie Blackwood, send picks to get him, and send down Campbell. Flip Bouchard for Barry. Bouchard's liabilities and lackadaisical D is terrible. JB says, the Oilers partners all know the team is going out routinely and getting screwed. Probably is relationship related. Jesus, JB. No. This one says, can we finally send Vinny down? The only 2 reasons he is up is to be physical and kill penalties. Well, he doesn't hit anyone because he's too slow, and our PK is atrocious. This text says, any word on McDavid injuries? Got to be something wrong. Yeah, we think so. Another one says, Desharnais, terrible. He doesn't use his size and is on the ice for so many goals and odd man rushes. Should they consider bringing up Gleason, who has NHL experience and might be more effective? Courtesy Lonnie Andrechuk's shooting coach.
Well, I mean, I'm open to bringing up Gleason right now. You might have to give a look at it. I mean, you got to change something. You got to do something.
All right, YouTube, Trev, how are we doing over there? We got some clips to play?
Yeah, we just got our first one. It's Stuart Skinner. I'll have it in like 2 minutes.
All right, how long did he go for?
1 minute.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Is there any more coming?
There should be. I'm hoping so, but this is all they've released right now.
Okay, well, you take care of that.
I got you.
All right, 780-218-9999. The onslaught continues. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. Don't let other fan bases rattle you, as they have infiltrated the show on the YouTube side. Cass, have you seen anything?
Another bring back Toby Ryder so the management can blame him. That's a good one.
Oh, boy.
It's definitely Toby's fault. There's a lot of it's in the water text coming in.
Yeah.
Messages. Yeah. It's something. Again, Tommy, it's just like, I feel like it's such a loss, as so many people do, because it's just like there's no There's no easy, rational explanation. There's not.
No. Trev, do I see Jay Woodcroft?
No, I'm replacing it from earlier.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Tommy.
All right. 780-218-9999. Let us know your thoughts. Cass.
I think we just need to take a deep breath, smash the panic button, and freak out again. Like, boy, oh boy. Tommy, what happens if they lose against San Jose?
I don't know. It can't get worse than this. But if they do, it does get worse.
It could. That's what I mean. Like, it could. Can't get worse than this. It could get worse than this. If they lose against San Jose, it gets worse than this.
All right. Trev, do we have McDavid and Skinner?
Yeah, I have Skinner, and then I'll have I'll have McDavid.
Can we run them back to back?
Yeah, I could probably get McDavid's ready while Skinner is playing.
Okay, if you can do that, are we able to do that? Let's run.
Yeah, let's give it a go here.
Let's go.
Sort of what you felt throughout the evening for your squad.
Yeah, I thought the start obviously is something that we wanted to do. Come out hard, come out strong, and we did that. Letting a couple goals pretty quick, and it kind of just killed us a bit. And game moved on. We ended up losing. It's a tough loss.
Couple off the rush goals again, which seems to have been a theme. Just how big of a challenge is that defending that way, and then just having to stop those high dangers?
Yeah, I think I can do a lot better to help my team out. I'm the goalie. My job's to stop the puck, and I let in 6. So that's not a good recipe to win games.
Difficult to go through the first period when I think the shots were 19-2 at one point, and then you're trailing coming in here. Yeah, it's hard because these guys are working their bag off. They're they did such a good job, especially in the first period. We had like 18 shots after I think 7 minutes. It was pretty impressive, and Demko obviously did a great job. But that's the guy who I got to beat out. I got to beat out the other goaltender, and I didn't do that tonight.
Right on, Cass. Any initial thoughts from Stuart?
Well, I mean, Stu, as always, is a guy that's going to wear it himself. He will take. I think he takes responsibility. Generally speaking, he is a guy that is competitive, that does want to win. That I think tries to take his fair share of the blame. So, I mean, he's not wrong in that they started well. He's not wrong in that the goals killed him. Still the first one, what are you going to do for him? And to me, the first one's the dagger.
For sure.
The first one's the dagger. It's a rush goal. You have the lead, you're playing well, and it's the first chance that Vancouver gets, and you give them a tap in, or you tap it in yourself. So just not up to snuff.
No, not at all.
Up to snuff.
Like, the toughest part about that is we played Stu pre-game, and he's like, no, I got to be better. And he's saying the exact same thing after the game. Is I got to be better. So
that's you, Trev. That's top to bottom. I mean, that's not just Stuart Skinner. I mean, everyone's saying they got to be better. We got to be better. We got to be better. And then they're not.
Yeah,
they haven't been.
Yeah, it's tough, Cass. But we do have Connor McDavid here. I'm going to play him right now. This is Connor McDavid after the 6-2 loss.
Yeah, I mean, obviously frustrating. I felt like we did a lot of good things in the first period and find ourselves down and chasing the game again.
What did you think happened in the third there with Miller? It's just maybe what you felt, maybe with JT Miller and just the stuff that happened then at the other end of the ice. Just maybe frustration boiling over. For everybody, not just you specifically.
I thought. I gave him a good shot. He gave me a good shot coming in front of the net, and just shoved him back. Nothing crazy, and Himes jumps in. Obviously appreciate that, and And then in the other end, not frustration at all. The guy turns into me, and I keep going, and they call the penalty. So that wasn't frustration. That was just trying to play hockey. And Kelly obviously saw something that he felt like was a penalty, and not frustration there.
What goes through your mind when Jay gets ejected?
Nothing really. He's a passionate guy, like we all are. That happens.
For you guys, you dominated the first 11 minutes. I mean, the shots I think were 19-2, and then when they tied it out of nowhere, it just seemed like you guys deflated a bit. How do you prevent that from happening when you've got the game, in control? It seems like.
Yeah, like I said, I thought we did a lot of good things in the first period and found ourselves down and chasing a hockey game.
Cass, what do you get out of Stuart Skinner and Connor McDavid in those interviews?
Well, we talked about Stuart Skinner a little bit already, myself and good old YouTube Trev. From the McDavid interview, I mean, it's the chasing. I mean, but it's in a lot of ways identical to a lot of the post-game interviews that we've seen this year. And that it's just like, yeah, we were chasing, we were down, we were chasing, we were down, we were chasing, we were down. Hard to play when you're chasing, hard to play when you're down. Hard to win games when you're chasing, hard to win games when you're down. And it's just more of the same. So like, what are you going to say at this point? Is it as a player, or as us, or as a coaching staff? Like, I mean, yeah, Jay's passionate and he got kicked out. Yeah, there's passionate guys in the locker room. What is that doing for you right now? Just hard, Tommy, because it's just like there are no easy answers. There are no easy answers.
Chris from Lloyd, as we await the Jay Woodcroft interviews. Yeah, that's coming next. YouTube Trev says. Chris from Lloyd says, put them in the offensive zone, bag skate them to the defensive zone like a back check until they puke. Don't want to back check during the game. Do it 200 times. In practice, Chris from Lloyd. I respect and appreciate that. I don't know if the message gets through to them, Cass. I would hope it did.
Nope. That doesn't. I mean, bag skating isn't. Maybe it fixes the brains. I don't know.
If Holland, here I'll read this one. If Holland is going to make a trade, he's going to have to find some money. Who on the Oilers is worth any money right now? I understand the frustration of that one. I understand it. This one says, does firing Ken Holland not send a message that what he did to this team is unacceptable? Yes, I understand it's his last year, but how can you let him just walk it to the sunset after all this? He's had 5 years to build a team around McDavid and Draisaitl and failed to do so. He does not deserve to be here for the year. I would love to know your guys' opinion on this. I understand, like, sending a message or wanting to send a message to Ken Holland. He's going to take that $5 million for the rest of the year because even though he's not doing the job, he still gets paid out the rest of the contract. I think that's if we forget that at times. And he'll say, well, okay, see you later. Like, he won't feel the sting as bad as people might assume he will.
No. And it's not like he's looking for another job after this. Like, it's not like this is going to hurt, his GM interview somewhere else. It's like, no, he's probably done. Going to retire.
Yeah. All right. YouTube Trev, we have Jay Woodcroft now. Let's hear from the head coach.
Maybe if you can tell us what you said or what happened between yourself and the referee to get you, ejected from the game.
At the end of the game there, yeah. You know what, it was, I asked about the play on Holloway. And, it wasn't not profanity-laced or anything like that. It was a question. It wasn't well received when I asked the question. And in the end, I got to be better. I can't take a penalty to put our team down. But I didn't think it crossed the line at all. But it was sometimes the way you send a message or ask a question, the way it's received might be not in the manner you intended to. And in the end, the reason I asked that question, I thought it was similar to the penalty that McDavid took to go down 4-on-3. So I thought it was a fair question. He didn't, and in the end, I got to be better. I can't ask that question apparently.
How tough is that when you guys collectively are trying not to show frustration and when something like that happens?
Well, you know what? I think frustration would be a profanity-laced tirade. That's not what that was. It was a question. It was a fair question. And, you know what? It ended up costing us. I can be better. It cost us because, we were at the tail end of a power play there, and it cost us the ability to try and find one on the power play. Didn't cost us a goal against on the penalty, but certainly I can be better in that situation.
I asked you this morning about defending and keeping the puck out of your net, and the first thing you said was we need to bury some offensively first. Is that what the first 11 minutes felt like when you're out shooting them 19-2 and you only get one goal at that point?
Yeah, I thought we did a lot of good things. We came out and asserted the way we wanted to play. I think their first goal we shot in our own net, which is never fun. Second goal we can be better on. But I liked the fight in our team. I thought our team competed hard. We found a way to make it 3-2. We gave one up on the fourth one that, we didn't love. Come out of the first shift and in the third period, there was a disallowed goal that we thought was a fair goal. Apparently there was conclusive evidence to overturn it, and it didn't go our way after that.
Jay, from the time it turned 2-1,
yep,
your team wasn't the same team as it was before. Are you getting the goaltending you need? Is your team sagging here because you're not getting that goaltending?
Well, I think you've heard me say this a million times. Our goaltenders wear the same jerseys as the rest of the team. Is there moments that our goaltenders can be better? Yeah, there are. Is there moments that our team or individual players at different positions can be better? Yeah. The nature of that position is that you're the last line, so if the mistake is made, it ends up in the net. If you're a forward, you make a mistake, it's usually away from the net. There's other people that can help cover.
It's a stark contrast. Demko's holding them in through 19 shots. Your guy's on 4 shots, there's 2 goals.
Yep.
That's got to be what's killing you,
Well, we didn't like looking up and seeing the score, in a period that we felt that way. But sometimes that happens. You can't script perfect hockey games. Sometimes another team's goaltender stands on their head and you give up a few mistakes and it ends up in the back of the net, whether that's a goaltender or a player. It's not fun, but we can collectively be better. And if I know that, I understand the nature of your question.
The 4-2 goal, you guys are in a tight 3-2 hockey game. You're on the road, you fought back, it's 3-2.
Yep.
Bouchard makes a pinch, and then he doesn't hustle back, and his guy scores. And he doesn't miss a shift. You use the word accountability a lot. Is there enough accountability for that player in that moment?
Well, accountability in how so? Do you mean in piping
him? He cost you a really important goal, and he didn't miss a shift.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, where we're at, I would say, we had 6 D-men, and, can he be better on that play? Yeah, he can. I'm not gonna dress that one up in any way. In fact, if one thing, you look at how Draisaitl backchecked to put his head down, he's on the face-off dot, and he came back with reckless abandon. That's the type of effort that we're looking for in that type of situation. Can Evan be better in that? Yeah, he can. But when you're down, and your top point producing D-man is part of helping you get back into a situation, are there times for accountability? Sure there are. Is there times for trying to find a way to come back in that game? Yeah, there are too. And so you learn from your mistakes, and in the end we can be better on that one. I was in the room, so I didn't even see it. I thought what I saw on television, I thought we could have handled that play a lot better. I thought they went cross ice at the blue line. It was something we talked about, and we can handle that situation better. In the end, we didn't find our result tonight.
Jay Woodcroft speaking to the media after being ejected from the game and his team falling 6-2, the Vancouver Canucks. Cassie gets a question, Spec throws him a high, hard one about Bouchard. Spec's right. Bouchard didn't miss any shifts. Where are the consequences?
And I understand to a certain extent the answer, because it's like, well, you're still trying to put an offensive player out there that can help you score goals to get back in the game.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what Woodcroft's trying to communicate. At this point, though, Tommy, shouldn't you try to send a message?
Yes. Yeah.
I think so.
Absolutely. 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 In your experiences as a professional hockey player, when a coach gets ejected from a game, is there ever no expletives used? Like, do you buy?
No.
Do you buy that?
Generally not. Generally not. Or you did the Jerry Seinfeld thing where you don't use a swear, but you can say something that's still pretty cutting.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't necessarily have to cuss to, get a point across. I wonder if we have any. If there's someone that's really good at lip reading, I would love to see if we could figure out what he said.
Well, even the camera angle is pretty far away. That caught him giving it to which ref was that? I want to see right now. I have the game notes right here. It was Kevin Pollock who was yelling at. That would be, if you have laser vision, you might be able to get it. But I don't think you will.
I don't think we will. I don't know if I buy that it wasn't profanity laced to toss a guy. Now, maybe it wasn't just Woodcroft. Maybe he thought it was Woodcroft because Woodcroft was yelling at him and someone else on the bench was throwing out something, because that happens sometimes too.
Sure.
Where the referee doesn't hear the right person and he thinks it's somebody that said something, but it was somebody else. So maybe that's the case, but I don't think I've ever seen someone get tossed for not dropping a few F-bombs.
Jonesy texts in, Cass, and this one is about deployment and strategy on the PK. Jonesy says, hey, boys, on the PK, when the Oilers play the diamond, we also seem to have one player defending two. Why can't they adapt and adjust the PK to even have everyone collapse? What are you seeing really quickly,
Well,
Cass?
on the PK, there's always a 2-on-1 somewhere. That's the reality of being on the penalty kill. You're down a man. There is a 2-on-1 somewhere. So it's about trying to force 2-on-1s into the least dangerous areas. So you don't, everyone's like, oh, you play diamond. Well, no, you're playing a box and it just rotates. Where the Oilers, I think, struggle sometimes, where I would like to see improvements from a coaching standpoint, is I think at times they make poor decisions with where their sticks are in lanes,
100%,
and give up too many seam plays. Do I think they need to do a better job collapsing at times in the PK? That as well. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Collapse more to help out your defensemen. That I see is an issue, but it's not the formation, as it were. Maybe it is the tightness of the box at times. And I still don't think they have a good enough one goes, we all go. Like when to pressure, when not to pressure on the PK, which is where I think that the best PKs, and you see that against like a Dallas, where when there's a moment where they can pressure, they are all pressuring. And I think it bodes well for penalty kills to do that. And I think Edmonton struggles with that at times.
A lot of pointing on the ice still happening, and that I don't think is a good sign either on the PK.
Yeah.
Not a good sign, I don't think. Cass, all right, I know it's past midnight. We've been going for over an hour, so I just tee up Thursday against San Jose. Tell us how after everyone decompresses, however they need to. Can we decompress? I don't know at this point, man. Like, I've covered this team this is the 17th season. I started really young, I know, but this is, given the hype going in, I've never experienced this covering this team. I'm bewildered. I don't have answers. I can't just say they don't have good enough players, because that is not true. And here we are at 2-8-1 with the Edmonton Oilers, facing down a team that has not won a game yet this year, and us going, yeah, they might lose that game.
Yeah, and San Jose is going to win one at some point.
Yes, they will. And it might be Thursday, Cass.
It could be. How to tee it up. I mean, let's all spend some time in prayer.
Have a little faith.
Have a little faith. find something to be hopeful about, that if they win this game, they maybe have hit rock bottom. But Tommy, I mean, it's just like you can't. I mean, the setup for the game. I mean, to me, Tom, if you lose this game, how can we sit at this and look at them and say this is a team that can make the playoffs, let alone win a Stanley Cup?
Someone in the nasty chat said that they now have a 9% chance of making the postseason, and only 2 teams, I think, have ever made it after only winning 2 of their first 11 games in NHL history.
It's not shocking.
No. If I was reading that text correctly.
Yeah, Tommy. I mean, you just got to win. You just have to win. Like, I mean, there's no setup. There's no. I mean, maybe do you look to say, okay, we are going to try to send Darnay down and bring in Gleason, get a little bit of different look. You could do that, sure. Or maybe, Hamblin goes down, and if you're able to, and I don't know from a cap standpoint, I have to look. You want to go back to 11-7, and you bring up Gleason so you can, sit Bouchard a little bit, play him a little bit less, actually have some accountability in there. Maybe you do that. But the bottom line is you have to find a way to win this hockey game. You just, but I'm scared.
There's no certainties here. There's
no
certainties.
There's absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The one thing.
Sheldon S., I need a 6 o'clock or lager. Oof.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
November 29th, Cass.
Yep.
November 29th.
Can't come soon enough.
That's right. One guarantee is we will be here for the pre- and post-game show on Thursday night, 7 o'clock for the pregame. Whatever happens, win or lose, devastating loss, barely winning, losing OT, whatever. Cass, you and I with YouTube Trev will be here to break it all down.
We'll be here.
That's right.
And hopefully we'll have more to say.
I sure hope so. Great work tonight, as always, my friend. Get some rest, and we will have a couple of days to chew on this loss, and then we'll do it all over again on Thursday, okay?
And it's a grizzly?
Gristly?
Chewy, gristly?
Yeah, gross.
It's a chewy one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be chewing on it for a little bit here, for sure.
Cass, have a good night, pal.
All right, buddy, you too.
That is our game analyst, Matt Kassian. We will have a player of the game brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite right after with YouTube Trev, but right after we get to Matthias Ekholm here. Matthias Ekholm speaking to the media following the Team 6-2 loss. Here we go.
Great start. Is it hard when teams kind of come back relatively quickly that you don't even kind of get to enjoy and build off what you guys worked so hard to start the game like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously yes, but right now it just feels like whatever we do. I think the last 2-3 games we've had great starts, and for some reason we find ourselves in a deficit going into the intermission, and it's frustrating. It's just I don't know if you can play a better first 15 minutes of that period. I looked at the shot clock after 14 minutes. It's like 18 shots or something, and we're humming, and then it just seems to be a break here, a break there, and a break there, and then it's 1-3. And it's not to feel sorry about myself. I'm just saying that's our reality right now, and we have to work even harder to get rewarded, and that's just where we're at right now. It's a frustrating part. I don't think I've ever had a worse start to a season in my career, and it's a test for sure. But I know we have the team to turn it around. It's a matter of duplicating those first to that start, and then obviously hold it for 60 minutes. But yeah, right now it's frustrating.
You see some of those moments, especially in the third. Jay gets ejected. Connor Darnell took what looked like frustration-type penalties. How much of that is there in this room?
Well, if that was in the second period, I probably had a different view on it than I do now. It's 5 minutes to go in the game or whatever. The game was, I shouldn't say the game was over, but it was late in the third. I'm sure they were cognizant about that too. So I don't I don't see that at all in the room. I thought that this was a frustrating game, and obviously you got to try to keep it to yourself, but sometimes it boils over, and better to do it today and when the game was kind of over than when it matters more.
As you're saying, the start was fine, but it felt like the deflation happened when that first Vancouver goal went in. What can you guys do to keep your foot on the gas?
I don't know necessarily if it was the first Vancouver goal or not, but I just thought that we deserved more than going in with the 1-3 deficit after the first period. I thought we played a really good start and a really good period. And it just seems to be that way. I mean, you see at the third, too, we come out humming and we get a goal, get it called back. They get one from, obviously it's not review or anything, but it's just the way this thing seems to go. So we just need to buckle up harder and play harder and all these things. Like it's early in the season yet, and it's 71 games to go. So lots of hockey to be played. We just need to, I think right now when the group is working hard but not getting the results, it's all about getting that first win, getting one, just a gutsy effort where you can squeak out a win and then go from there. And that's where we're at right now, and we got an opportunity on Thursday again. We can sit and think and pout about this game as much as we want, but the reality is we have another game on Thursday, and that's where our focus is at.
There's Matthias Ekholm scoring his first goal of the season on the power play. Power play 2, connecting for the second straight game. That was about as good as it would get for the Oilers as they would watch that game crumble and the team go on to a 6-2 loss at the hands of the Vancouver Canucks. All right, we promised we had to get to the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and amongst RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit him on Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. YouTube, Trev, who is the player of the game?
It's second game in a row. It's not an Oiler, and just looking up and down the lineup again, Tommy. You can only go with the guys that hustle and give effort. I said, Holloway he might be a runner-up. Same with Fogle. They were skating at least, giving up, but at the end of the day, they gotta score if you want to be the player of the game. And Quinn Hughes. I mean, just an unbelievable player. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a Norris as early as this year. The way he's playing, 1 goal, 3 assists, +2. He is just such a shifty defenseman. He skates so well. He's so smart. And, man, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to have a player like that on the Oilers? Someone who just... he gives it their all, and he's a great. It's impressive to watch as a hockey fan. Like you can just tell it's clear as day. He's such a game changer. Nope. Oh, I didn't even realize I did that. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, without a doubt, Quinn Hughes. Honorable mention to Thatcher Demko as well. Like he definitely won them that game in the first period. But Quinn Hughes just unbelievable talent, and he is for sure the Damon Bunting player of the game.
Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Check him out, DamonBunting.com or Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram. The Oilers fall 6-2 to the Vancouver Canucks. It's 3 straight losses and now 2 8-1 on this season. It is slipping away in the worst way. All right, having said that, we're going to wrap things up. Big thank you to everyone who tuned in. A big thank you to everyone who texted in. I see the nasty chat getting a little bit ridiculous, so I had to mute some people. But we appreciate you. Smash that thumbs up button if you're sticking around. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to Edmonton Sports Talk. Tomorrow's morning show on the Nielsen Show is going to be fire. I know people are going to be pissed off, upset, and they're going to have a lot to talk about. The boys will tomorrow morning. So for YouTube, Trev and Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for watching the Oil Stream post-game show. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.